Welcome to the Gals Guide podcast. Join us on an adventure to get to know famous and infamous women from around the world. Each of our presenters has a pick. Is she ancient history? Is she breaking news? Is she safe for work? Well, that's up to each presenter. All we know is that...
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Well, welcome back to the Gals Guide podcast. It is a new month and a new theme. So 2025 is our Rebel Gal era. And this month we are looking closely at freedom. So freedom, the goal of rebellion. It is also needed for freedom to spark that rebellion. Amazing women of history have felt the suppression of their voices and fought back. So the rebel path to be free to reclaim their personal and collective liberty, striving for a society that respects individual rights. Look at that. That's what we mean by freedom. That and just freedom. That too. So let me introduce you to my rebels this month. So first up, she is president of the Gals Guide to the Galaxy, and I'm just adding extra words in there, and our head librarian, Bonnie Just Fillenworth, everybody. Yay! So Bonnie, what is just one of your rebel plans? I know, I see the panic in your face. One of your rebel plans.
It's not like you don't ask this every month. I don't come prepared.
And yet, yes, but it's like, oh crap, it's going to be June. Oh wait, no, it's July. I even said for July. It's July. This is for July.
It's only been 6 months.
Exactly, right? Yeah.
July, the second month of Pride Month.
Correct, exactly. Yes, part deux.
Yes.
Or how about just what rebel plans do you have on your agenda?
Rebel plans would be cleaning my house.
Sweet.
Yeah, I had to move Mom out of her house, and a bunch of my old stuff, and some of her stuff is in my garage. We're going to get stuff sorted out, so my garage and her garage are both filled
with
stuff to go through.
Fun.
And then
it's a good thing it's not hot out there.
Yeah, we got in-laws coming in like 3 weeks.
Sweet.
And then like the next weekend is Gen Con, and we're having a bunch of friends over for Gen Con. To have the house clean because there's big air mattresses everywhere.
You got some Marie Kondoing to do?
Yes.
When it's out of the 90s, hit me up. I'll come help you clean. I love cleaning.
Oh, that's right.
I love unleashing my cleaning.
I wish there was a vacuum to clean the other vacuum.
Sorry, I like that. Yeah. No, that's good. That sparked joy in me, Marie Kondo.
I like it.
Next up, it is our Fab Book Club director and vice president of Gals Guide to the Galaxy. It's Katie Young, everybody. Yay! So, Katie, what is just one of your rebel plans for, let's just say, this month?
Oh.
Whatever month I have
we're listening to.
My rebel plans are... I can't remember if I said this last month, but maybe it's just ongoing if I did.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's pretty self-focused, but I just want to keep working on my mental health.
Sweet. I like it.
And part of that is, you talked about the freedom to reclaim your personal liberty.
Yes.
And I've spent a lot of my life being a people pleaser.
Right.
And kind of catering to other people and putting their needs first.
Yep.
So I'm kind of really working on finding the things I like to do and trying to do more of those things.
Yeah.
So this year I've been hitting the pool.
Sweet.
I've lived here in Noblesville for 16 years, maybe?
So.
17? Yeah. Something like that.
I know. I've been here for 16, and we either moved.
I was like 6 months before you. Yeah,
same year.
Just slightly.
Yeah. So 16, 17 years.
And I had never been to the Forest Park pool.
It's great.
But I got a pool pass this year.
Yes.
And I even wore my bikini there.
Look at you.
So
I like it. Talk about
I am
freedom.
Rebelling by going there, swimming in the lanes, even though, can barely make it down one lap. It is a 50-meter pool, people. It is a long pool.
We've had Olympians train at that pool.
I know.
So,
and bonus, if you get tired and you need a break, you can watch amazing divers practice.
Yes, this is
because they're always there practicing, doing like the stuff you see on TV. So it's a win-win to go to Forest Park.
It is.
So
Absolutely not heard of it.
They have a great pool. You can come with me, Bonnie.
And actually, what I highly recommend, and I recommended it to Katie when Katie said that she was going to be at the pool. For some odd reason, you go to the pool, and then there's the little snack shack. And Uncrustable, after swimming, is like heaven in a little thing. I'm not a big PB&J fan, but for some odd reason, I was like starving after swimming, and I'm like, yeah, sure, PB&J, Uncrustable, whatever. And then I'm like, how is this so good? It's the perfect after swimming.
Yeah, there's like... Someone put out the math for how many Uncrustables a NFL team goes through in like a week. And it's like...
Because they're little.
It's enough for like each player to have like 5 a day.
That sounds right.
Or something.
Right.
It's
a quick carb. It's a sugar.
I'm like, how is there enough for them to be in any grocery stores?
They're eating all the Uncrustables. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, no, it's...
We know who to talk to if they run out at the snack bar at Forest Park.
Exactly, right? This is true. I like it. Well, as for me, I am Riro, and I'm the executive director of Gal's Guide Library. My rebel plans are to survive. Oh my God. So Indiana's trying to kick me in the ass on the way out. So in the midst of moving the house and moving the library to Minnesota, a tree fell on my house and karate chopped a car.
For serious.
It really did.
It looked like a power punch more than a karate chop. There was damage.
It was like a one-punch man. Yeah. Oh, my God. Mm-hmm. No, it was so... we got power back today, but it has been 7 days without power. Bon let us stay. Thank you, Bon. Well, Katie was out of town.
We let Dolores stay, and you guys
came along
with this.
Yeah, exactly. We were her entourage, very much so. Yes, this is so true. But oh my goodness gracious. So the library, at the time of this recording, the library starts packing up tomorrow. So that's crazy. When this podcast episode airs, I'm going to be loading up a moving truck. So that's going to be hella interesting and time-space continuum. Then the goal is when the second episode airs, I will be at my new house in Moorhead, Minnesota. So for listeners to feel like they're participating along sort of thing. And then we're going to keep the show going. Yep. So Katie and Bon are going to go home with a beautiful podcast microphone stand and set.
Oh, nice.
That way you can plug it into your computer, and then you can go through Zoom, and then you've got beautiful audio recording, and you just use Zoom, and we'll do this over the internet and have some international guests.
Wow.
How about that?
I like it.
A couple of international people already said, come on in.
Miss Art South Dakota back on then.
Yes, exactly. Yep. Claire can come back on. We've got Jackie in Ireland can come back on. She did a special Irish episode with us. So the more the merrier. And because it's going to be Zoom, we're not necessarily going to be limited to microphones, but at the same time, there's still only like 4 or 5 weeks in a month. So there's that. So the show is going to keep going. We may sound a little bit different. We may sound a little less drunk. We might sound a little more drunk because our commute, right? Our commute's going to be shorter.
Oh dear.
It could be dangerous for all of us. There'll also be a lot more pets in the podcast record. So
lots.
We'll just lean into the pet fun. I mean, it's great. I think all of our listeners love pets anyway. So, I mean, you don't have to worry about allergies because you're just hearing them. Yep. And yeah, exactly. So it'll be fantastic. But for this month, this is the last recording in the Noblesville Library setup that we have here. So it feels weird and bittersweet, but also at the same time kind of cathartic. Just to ask, Bonnie, do you want to go first?
Sure.
Yay! Who do you have for us as your freedom gal?
I have...
Like for a second there, I feel like I'm like, do you know?
I'm on the edge of my seat,
right? Oh, sneaky. Is it a guessing game?
I have a person known as Robert Shirtliff.
Oh, why does that name sound familiar? Yes, Robert Shirtliff.
Shirtliff.
Okay. Yes.
They were born December 19th, 1760 in Massachusetts.
Okay.
Dad was Jonathan. Mother was Deborah.
Sweet.
They had 6 other siblings.
Yeah.
The dad abandoned the family.
Fucker. Sorry.
Well, it's either when they were 5 that dad was some kind of sailor or something and died at sea.
Oh, okay.
But it sounds more likely
that
daddy had a second family in Maine.
Why does Daddy have a second family?
Like, it sounds like
damn it.
He started a second family.
Sure. Yeah,
Not that there was already one going.
Yeah. Okay, so choices were made. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, so either Mom knew and that's what she told all the kiddos.
Right.
Or they just figured this out later.
That's fair. Both could be true at one point, yes.
There's probably a lot of Jonathans running around back then. So
right.
Who knows?
I get it.
But either way, Mom's left with 7 kids.
Okay.
So she ends up placing some of the kids with other relatives and family friends to lighten the load. Mom dies shortly after, like a year or two later.
Oh my gosh.
Crap.
So they're sent to live with Mary Prince Thatcher, who's a widow.
Okay.
Who's in her 80s at the time.
Oh.
And taught them how to read.
An 80-year-old with 7 kids. Sweet.
Well,
just some of them.
Just at least this one kiddo.
Oh, okay. All right. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
And then at 10 years old, was sent to be an indentured servant.
Oh.
So I'm like, I thought you had to get in trouble.
Right.
Like, I thought you either had to be, like, in debt or it was, like, an alternative to jail.
It probably
to
is
be
the
an
debt.
indentured servant.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But 10 years old.
Wow.
To live with the Jeremiah Thomas family.
Gotcha.
Until they were 18.
Oh, that's their whole childhood there.
Yeah.
Do we know what they did at the house? Just probably like
They
changed as they grew and household stuff.
Teacher, weaver, carpenter, and in 17, I keep saying 18. 1782 enlisted in the army.
Yeah. To get
under
out of
the name
indentured
of
servitude?
Timothy Thaler.
Oh, okay. Timothy Thaler. So it changed from Robert to Timothy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
But was soon found out that Timothy was not Timothy.
Yeah.
I was trying to stretch this out as long as I can. Timothy's not Timothy.
Okay.
Timothy is actually Deborah Sampson.
Deborah Sampson.
Deborah Sampson.
Civil War hero is where we're going, right?
Revolutionary War.
Okay, yes, math. There you go.
Yes.
Amazing. So
yeah.
So going as a boy, as a gentleman, for a good long part of their life. I'm going to go with their pronoun. No,
I was just trying to string people along. To be like, trying to get to the thing, but that's taking too long.
It was a good attempt. I got it.
Deborah Sampson. Yeah, indentured servant at 10.
Wow. Ew.
Until they were 18. I thought it was cool that they worked as a carpenter.
Yeah.
And all this stuff too. I'm not sure if this is just indentured servant skills that they picked up.
Right.
It sounded like that last house they were at. There were a bunch of boys.
Oh.
So I'm sure that helped in their undercoverness.
Right. Exactly. Stealing some clothes.
Deborah was found out because she enlisted in a town near where she had lived.
So they knew of her.
The thing I heard was that someone recognized the way that she held a pen.
What?
Like, I'm like, what was she holding it with her foot?
Right.
Like, apparently the way that she held her pen for signing the papers
noticeable. Or that person really was watching her.
It's probably that she actually had legible handwriting, because boys have terrible handwriting.
Oh.
At least nowadays.
True. Yeah.
I thought everybody had fancy handwriting back then, though, so...
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm. True. Interesting. Okay. So the pen.
But in May of 1782, they enlisted again. This time as Robert Shirtliff in a town slightly farther away.
Okay, good idea. Yes. Learn the lesson from the first one.
But in June or July, they ended up being shot in the leg with a sword cut to their head.
Whoa. Yeah.
And ended up being treated for the sword wound to the head and left before the doctor could treat their leg.
Right.
And she ended up getting out a penknife and digging the musket ball out and sewed it up herself.
Oh, goodness.
Yikes.
I think I saw the drunk history version of this, which was a little bit more comical, but still
amazing. And she became ill in 1783.
Yeah.
Became unconscious due to fever.
Because of the wound?
No.
Or was this just random, another day?
So at least 6 months later. It sounded like they only served for about a year and a half.
Okay, all right.
But unconscious due to fever.
Okay.
Dr. Oh gosh, I forgot how to pronounce it. Binry?
Yeah.
Binne, maybe R-Y.
Gotcha. Okay.
Discovered her bindings.
Yes, to hide those boobs,
But he kept it cool. He didn't say anything to anyone.
Oh.
I don't know the logistics of how, but he sent what was Robert
Yeah.
to his house to be treated with his wife and daughters for them to recover.
To keep it on the down low.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he
Nice.
never spilled the beans.
Good
Sweet.
dude.
Yeah.
I was about to say his name doesn't matter, but let's give him a bravo.
Yes,
Thank you, sir.
exactly. Thank you for your service.
But he sent her to deliver a letter to a dude who ended up being her commanding officer.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I'm not sure if they ever spelled out exactly if for sure, but
Yeah.
she was very suspicious that in that letter
Yeah.
was, hey,
Right.
I enlisted as Robert Shirtliff. I'm actually Deborah Sampson.
It could have been, if injured, bring this person back to me. I'll take care of it. It could be to help hide.
Well, she was delivering the letter as
Okay.
Deborah.
Oh, okay.
So I
All
think it was, this woman in front of you is actually
Robert.
the soldier Robert Shirtliff.
Oh,
But she
maybe.
ended up getting honorably discharged.
Okay, that's nice.
So that was very uncommon.
So he didn't do her too
Yeah.
dirty.
Right.
No,
for
but
sure. It was kind of
still.
respectful, yeah.
Apparently, a bunch of other ladies that tried such activities. It was not good.
Gotcha.
What would probably be considered like sexual assaults, probably trying to be like, let's
Right.
prove what bathroom you belong in.
Great.
Shenanigans.
Well, so then she was lucky in that regard.
She was very
'cause-
lucky.
Damn. Ew.
But she ended up after the war marrying Benjamin Garnett
Cool.
in 1785. So a couple years later, they ended up having 4 kids, one of which was adopted, which I think was very nice.
Yeah.
Considering she grew up poor and having to have her family split up, and then
Yeah.
she ends up taking people in.
Yeah, she knows how that being split up feels, and so it needs a little extra TLC. Yeah.
In 1792, she petitioned for her military pension.
Nice. That's a badass move right there.
Right? Just like, well, I was honorably
served, but I did get sworded in the head and a bullet in my leg, so pay up.
She ended up being awarded her Pinterest with interest back to her discharge.
Ah,
so
sweet.
she got back pay.
Nice.
She went around and gave lectures about her service. It sounded like she would have a speech that she had a person help write for her. She would do her little speech, and then she would like go behind a curtain and change into her military uniform and come back out and do like little drills, which I'm sure is very awkward
sure
when
it
it's
was
just one
cute.
person doing them.
Yeah.
And, like I don't know.
Sure.
But she's trying to do this
It's a
to earn
show.
money because like they're not very rich either. Like that's why she's trying to get this pension is 'cause
right.
they're short on cash.
Yeah.
She was so short on cash that she ended up borrowing money from her friend Paul Revere.
Really? The Midnight
You know,
Rider, one would say.
the guy who's the male Sybil Ludington.
Yes, exactly.
That guy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But Paul ended up writing after she wrote a letter asking to borrow $10.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that is in 1700s money.
Sure.
But he gave her the $10 and then immediately
nice.
wrote to whoever
Right.
to increase her pension.
Aww.
And they did.
That is probably the only good thing I've ever heard about Paul Revere.
Mhm.
But that's very nice.
She ended up dying of yellow fever in 1827.
Aww.
After she died, her husband asked for spousal pension.
Yes.
And the military's like,
We don't know how to do
we've
this.
never had this issue.
Right. Uh-huh.
And they ended up granting it, but he ended up dying before he actually received any money.
Oh, no. Gotcha. Yeah. That sucks.
And
How
then,
old was she when she died,
So
ish?
she was born in
'Cause if
1760 and died in 1827, so 80, is that 87?
Holy crap. Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say anything past like 60 years old, having being military and all that
Yeah.
stuff would be
And he was
amazing,
only like
but
3 years older than her.
Wow.
Huh.
Look at that.
I remember trying to do the math when I was like, wait,
Big,
she went
long
into
life.
indentured servitude. I was like, how long did this? I was like, she's 10.
Right. Yes.
She's Louise.
My goodness gracious.
But yeah, as you mentioned, there's a really great drunk history episode.
Yes.
She had the house that she was born in,
Mhm.
I think is available. I don't know if for like tours or something. It's still standing.
Oh, nice. Okay.
The house that she lived in after she's married is
Yeah.
still standing, but it's not open to the public.
Okay.
I don't know if there's like a plaque outside or anything.
Okay. Gotcha.
There is a boulder I think the
tweet?
boulder is the thing that the Daughters of the American Revolution put in.
Oh, okay.
Cool. But if it's not the boulder, then it's a statue. There's a
Right.
statue in her hometown.
All right, well, that's nice.
And then there is
Remembrance.
the SS Deborah Garrett.
She has her own, like,
She has her
Navy
own
ship?
Nice.
That served from 1944 to 1962, so that sounds like some World
Oh.
War II action there.
Yeah. That's
And
nice.
then she, along with many other ladies, are in the Cokie Roberts Founding Mothers,
Oh, good.
along with similar ladies like Molly Pitcher.
Yeah, there you go. The Cannon Lady?
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
She's kind of like a Rosie the Riveter character,
Yeah.
where she maybe existed, but she may also just be multiple people talking about multiple women as they are the same person,
Right,
or multiple ladies doing like the same kind of thing, and they're all just grouping them
right.
together.
They're
but-
definitely both became iconic.
Yeah.
So,
But there's like 3 names at the top for Molly Pitcher.
okay, gotcha.
I'm
of who it
trying to
could have
remember their
been.
names. But
This,
Deborah is one of them, and I was like, I don't think it's
Ah.
Deborah Sampson.
right,
But
because that's the story of the they were firing the cannons. The cannons
Mhm.
got stuck. The boys couldn't figure it out, and Molly or whoever it was
It's-
said,
it's supposed to be that in the before Robert Shirtliff
right, yes,
appears on the battlefield, years before, it's supposed to be that Molly Pitcher, that's how she got her name, is that she's
Right.
carrying water to the soldiers
the pictures.
while
yeah.
her husband is manning the cannons.
Ah.
He goes down, so she
Ah.
takes over the cannon.
Gotcha.
And she was also awarded a pension, because a lot of people are like, Deborah's the first one to get a pension. No.
Ah, you're like, no.
No, these other two other ladies did. But one or both of them received half of a pension because she's a lady.
Oh.
was
Well,
like, nah.
thanks.
I was trying to
giant
figure out,
question mark.
there was somewhere where some lady, either in the Revolutionary War or the Civil War,
Mhm.
they were trying to do some weird loopholes where they didn't want to give the lady who fought pension, because they're like, well, we can't pay women. So they were trying to pay her in like whiskey barrels instead.
Well, I might consider.
It was something like that.
I get it.
Or
though.
maybe it was the other way around. Maybe part of the pension included whiskey barrels, and they're like, well, we can't give liquor to a woman. It was something
sure.
like that.
Yes, you can.
Because I was waiting for that to come up with Deborah. I was like, is she the whiskey lady?
Right, exactly. Yeah. Nobody ever pays me income. Sweet.
But, and then I had also just heard on a Stuff You Missed in History podcast, they added in at the end,
yeah.
Deborah Sampson is mentioned several times in books back in the day, included in African American hero
Oh.
collections,
Okay.
but it doesn't seem like she had African American
Ancestry.
roots. Like, they talk
Right.
about her family came over on the Mayflower, but there's some that are unaccounted for.
Right.
But then also some people aren't really the daddy who they say they are.
Right. Mm-hmm.
She's like, she did grow up in Massachusetts. It's like a little less slavery.
Right. Ish. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I mean,
So
if she
there's
was, she definitely seems like she was passing. 'Cause
Right.
she didn't seem to struggle with any racial issues.
Right. Exactly.
Of
Of being in the armies and things like that. So
yeah.
interesting. But that is
Like, if
cool how
she
she
w-
pops up there.
if she was a black woman, or
Doing
discovered
what-
to be a black woman,
Uh-huh.
I don't think they would have honorably discharged
right.
her or given her a pension.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So
The plot thickens, though.
for back in the day.
About why.
But it's weird that they mentioned, like, there's many books.
Yeah.
That mention her
Huh.
in that collection. So, like, they were still talking about her as a black woman in the civil rights. That was,
Gotcha.
like, one of the stories they would keep telling.
Neat.
And it's like...
There's got to be a kernel
Ah.
as to why. So, yeah.
Oh.
Perhaps a story for another day or a follow-up for another day when we find out and be like, oh, this is why she keeps getting mentioned.
I don't know.
Yes.
It could have been just somebody lumped something somewhere and then everyone's citing the thing. I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah.
But maybe. I don't know.
I like it. I like it. Sweet. Should I wrap us
Sure.
up? Look at that. The first one of the month. John, I love it. Well, that wraps it up for us this week. Join us next week for another Freedom Gal is picked to share on the Gals Guide podcast as it continues. Thanks for listening. Want to learn about more women of history? Gals Guide opened a unique women's history lending library. Come visit and explore our collection. Learn more at galsguide.org. Thanks for listening.